Welcome to Marketing Mondays live on Facebook every Monday at 1 o'clock. I'm so glad you're here. Please add a comment below and let me know where you're from. And if you have a marketing tip to share or a marketing opportunity, please add it to the comments below and share with everyone else on the call and that's listening to this on the replay. So before I begin, I'd just like to say that my name is Sue Sutcliffe, and I have been working with small businesses and sales teams who want to increase sales and improve customer engagement since 1993. I am a marketing junkie, and I'm so thrilled to be here and doing this show. Today, although I could talk about marketing for hours and hours, I am a corporate trainer. I do facilitate training on networking. Um, I'd like to share a few of the highlights today from some of the training materials that I've developed over the years because I feel that networking is just so vital to so many businesses, and yet it's an area where a lot of businesses share. I mean, a lot of people say to me, "Oh, so you don't understand because I'm shy. I'm not outward, like I'm not an extrovert like you." But what they don't understand is that I wasn't always like this. I've always enjoyed people, but I used to be terribly shy. And when I started networking 25 years ago, it was really scary. I mean, the chambers of commerce and boards of trade were the only organizations that facilitated networking in those days, and they were kind of old boys club. Not like I'm not. They were different then, and it was really scary. But what I found was that it was great for my business, and that if I just swallowed the pain and the stress and did it, it was good for business. So I kept doing it, and because it was good for business, I studied it. So I have followed everything I can get my hands on with networking, and I could facilitate probably a day long training session on this. But typically they're half day sessions, where you can share the different tips and then actually facilitate hands on. Like let's get it done. Okay, so today's tips that I'd like to share are are kind of are kind of twofold. One, the do's and don'ts, because I think that's important for everyone to know. And second of all, one of the things that I think is will make the biggest change in your networking game is preparation. What you should do before you go networking. And I know that sounds crazy, but really that's where most people fall down. So, one of the very first gold tips I'm going to share with you is that you should always show up. And before you show up, when you're registering, you should try to find out who is going to be there. Now, with Facebook, it allows you to show who's registered and say they're going and who may be coming, and that's really gives you some real pivotal information, because if you can identify people that are your ideal client and get to know a little bit about them beforehand, you can go into that networking experience with a list of key people that you ideally want to start a conversation with. Now, just to be clear, networking is not about selling on the spot. I know there's a lot of people that do that, and that's wonderful, and it's certainly a technique that a lot of people, and I'm not putting that down. But what I'm talking about today is just, very comfortable networking where you're building relationships, because to me, that's what networking is all about. So I always go to an event and try to find out who's going. A lot of times they'll publish the list of who's signed up on Eventbrite or whatever. So I always try to kind of do that. The other thing I always try to do is show up early. Show up early and leave late, really, because those are the best opportunities. The people that are straggling at the end, they have time to kill or they would have been at the door. So by all means, grab somebody that's on your list and start connecting. You never know what's going to come up. And arriving early is kind of a really cool place to be, because nobody really wants to be that person that says, "Hey, how you doing?" They would prefer for everybody to come to them. Most people. And so I always try to make the point of being there early so that I can be the person that makes them feel comfortable. So I say, "Hi, my name is Sue. What's yours? We haven't met before. What do you do?" And they instantly feel comfortable. And for making them feel comfortable, they feel good about me. The other reason is if I show up early, a lot of times, the event organizers aren't ready. And, it's an opportunity to help them out. I think honestly, when you put out positive vibes and when you're good to people, it'll automatically come back to you most times. Now, you always want to come prepared. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to have business cards all the time. Now, I know I've seen so many people, including me, have made that mistake. I now keep a box of business cards in my car, because if somebody asks me if I have a business card and I don't have it, I don't want to have to say, oops, I forgot it. I want to say, you know what? I'm going to go get one for you. I'll be right back. And then they're all, because my car is always with me, that's kind of a cool place to keep them. So even if my purse repository is low or my briefcase repository is low, I'm good. Second of all, you want to have something that you can leave with them besides a business card. Some sort of promotional material or an item. You want to leave something that they're going to keep and look at, like they're going to remember. There's going to be a lot of people talking, and they may be very impressed with you, but you want to give them something tangible that they can hold, so they can remember you. All right. Now, a pen and paper is always handy, because if you're like me, you get a lot of information when you're talking to people, and you don't want to forget that pivotal information. So now, it's a lot of cultures, especially, it's considered rude to write on a business card. So I would never suggest that you do this in person, but you do want to bring a pen and paper so that you can write down little notes. And if you're stuck, yeah, by all means, you can put a little note on a business card. Just kind of do it subtly, because some people would get insulted that you would write on their card. But it's a good idea to remember what they're doing. Now, if a group that is having an event publishes the attendees that are going, oftentimes I'll bring that piece of paper, and then as everyone's doing the 30-second infomercials, hi, my name's Sue and I do this, I can write down little notes. I'm listening for opportunities. So where they're putting out something they're needing, I'm thinking, oh, I know a way I can help them. And I will follow up with them later and say, oh, you know what? I heard you say this at the meeting. And by the way, I know somebody. So a lot of times connecting people. You have to look the part. You have to come up on brand. A lot of people wear their colors. There's some in our community that are so fabulous at that. I'm trying to do that, although I've got 4 colors, so that's a lot of color. But by all means, you need to look professional. You need to look the part, I should say, because not everybody's professional, but you should look professional in what you do. I was once questioned by a painter who said, you know what, I'm a painter, so this is how I look. Well, that's a good look for you, because that's your brand. As long as you're representing your brand well, that's really what it's all about. So dress for success, and by all means be confident. Just by dressing for success and being prepared, you'll feel more confident, and that'll come through. And that is an important piece. Some people say fake it till you make it. Sometimes you have to do that, but you know what? You do need to have that confidence. It's huge. You know what? People would you come across as far more trustworthy if you're confident. All right. So now you're going to want to prepare for small talk. Some people struggle with that. Having a little bit of Newfie blood in me, small talk comes pretty easily to me. But a lot of times that there are some tricks around that. So before you go to an event, be up on the news. Be up on the big big headlines that are there. Think about the unexpected, so and try to be prepared. So if they ask for something, that you have it. Not if they're asking you about a particular program that you have, or something, and you're ready to go, have that material ready. I don't ever try to close when I'm networking. I'm literally just trying to build relationships. But I do try to have that stuff ready, because it might be the second time I see somebody, or when they decide they want to buy, that's the time you want to close them, right? The other thing that you really need to do before you even think about networking is an infomercial. And I call it a 30-second infomercial. And I'm going to do a different segment on that. So I'm not going to touch that today, but I am going to talk about my theory about a 30-second infomercial at a future show. And if you hit like below, I will make sure that you get an invite. I'll tell you how you can be sure to get an invite. Now let's move on to the do's and don'ts, because I know that for a lot of people, that you're new to networking. Some of these you may know, some of them you may not. That's cool. And they are my rules. So these are things that I believe in, but you're entitled to your opinion, and by all means, what I say has worked for me, but you should do what works for you. I say that because the first one that I say is, don't talk about politics, sex, or religion. And I've been questioned by a lot of social media gurus that say, well, hey, if we don't do that, where do you do it? Well, that's a really good point. And certainly you can choose how you roll with that. But understand that if you position yourself as, say politically on one side, then instantly the people that are on the other side are now thinking, oh, that's a divide between you. Same thing with religion. There's people that are faith based and some people that aren't. And I think, what this is, networking is not the time, unless you're in the position that you don't actually need to write business. That's not the time to bring up that topic, in my mind. They call it cocktail rules. I go by them, but like I say, that's my rule. You make your own decisions. You know, the next one, I know there's going to be people that disagree. They're going to tell me that, what, things have changed, and they may very well have. But I believe you should not swear or cuss when you're networking. It's just, to me, it's not professional. And I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. And yet there's a lot of people that do it automatically and they don't see anything wrong with it. And by all means, if that's your style, if that's okay for your brand, all power for it to you. But I just know when I hear somebody swear, it just kind of, and I swear, like, I'm not perfect at it by any means, but I really try not to do it in that environment, because you know what? It's another thing that puts you out there that, a lot of people are just not comfortable. They find it not really, endearing. Um, and focus on the other people versus focusing on you. So rather than walk in a room and say, who wants to buy my product? Why don't you listen for their needs? Why don't you listen to what they're talking? Everyone loves to talk. So ask open-ended questions that they can that will reveal things about what they need, and listen for those needs and try to help them. So if somebody says, I'm looking for somebody that does this, I'll make a note and I'll follow up with them afterwards and say, hey, you know what, I happen to know a few people that could do that, and what are you in particularly looking for? And when somebody helps you, what's your automatic reaction? I mean, if you're like me, if somebody helps me, I want to go, oh, I want to help them back. So, I'm not suggesting that you do this in, like, sometimes it comes across, and I think about it coming across as very calculating. I think it's not calculating, it's focused. And the fact of it is unless you're buying your own product, you are not your ideal customer. And that's who you have to focus on always. So, you know, everyone does a lot of things about marketing, and they all do the same thing. They'll get a business card, they'll get a website, they'll get on Facebook or social media, and that's wonderful. But one of the things that people don't understand is that when you do what everybody else does, you don't stand out. And marketing's all about standing out. Marketing's all about doing things out of the box that people that are going to make you recognized. Because when you're recognized, people can watch you and get a good feeling about who you are, and it's a way to build rapport. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing video, because I feel that I'm far better live. I've heard that so many times. People go, oh, you know what, you just love it. It's like, well, I have no problem being on stage. Video has been a real challenge to me, so I'm working really hard at that. Anyways, on to the networking don'ts, because I have 10 business networking don'ts that I want to share. And then what I'm going to do is go through the comments and look for your feedback, your comments. And what I'd like to do is share some of those. So 10 top business networking do's. Do smile. People like looking at someone that's smiling. It's a lot better than this. And a lot of people have this face when they're not paying attention. They just have a miserable face. And it's not that they're miserable. They just don't look that way. And chances are when you're at rest, you're maybe not smiling. You need to remember to smile. Get the smile muscle going on, because when you're smiling, you're more approachable. People like to be around people that are happy. People also like to connect with people they can make eye contact with. So it's important to look at the person that you're networking with. If you're not looking and you're here and there and you're talking and all that stuff, that's not really relating, because it's almost like you're not with them, that you're not present. This is really important, and this is why I advocate for close social media shots. That is so important. People need to see your eyes. Your eyes are the window of the soul. Hi, Antoine. Nice to see you. I'm so glad you could join us. So windows, your eyes are so critical. People have to see your eyes to connect. Another thing is you want to make the first move. Like I say, nobody wants to be that person that says, "Hi, I am. Let's connect." No, they don't want to do that. But so if you actually go to them and say, "Hi, my name's Sue," now you've actually taken that stress off them, and you've made them feel comfortable. You've brought value to that person, and you don't probably even know their name yet. Just by doing introducing yourself, you've taken the pressure away from them. Now, another thing that you want to do is shake hands. Now, I know there's all these things, people going, "Oh, like this." That doesn't make me warm and fuzzy. I don't know. Maybe it does with you. Maybe it spreads less germs. But you know what? The more fast the world goes, and the more isolated we become because of social media, the more that humans need touch. We need human touch. And when you reach out to take somebody's hand, you want to develop a really good handshake. You're touching that person, and there's nothing more intimate than touch. So develop a good handshake. If you're not sure you've got one and you want some coaching, by all means, give me a call. I mean, it doesn't take long. I'll show you what I know about it, and I've had a lot of success with handshaking. You want to repeat their names because people love to hear their names. In fact, they say that's the most pleasurable thing that somebody says to you is that your name. It's not "I'll make dinner." It's not "let's go to a date." It's their name. They love to hear their name. So say people's names. It also helps you remember them, which is kind of nice. It's a good way of remembering names. Now, I spoke to this earlier about asking open-ended questions, and that's really, really important because when you ask somebody a question and you're having conversation, a lot of people say, "Sue, you're really engaging. It's easy for you to talk to people." Well, it is, but really the key to being an engaging person isn't actually talking. It's asking questions that get the other person talking about themselves. The way to do that is with open-ended questions. So in other words, you say to that person, "That's a really nice blouse you're wearing. Where did you get it?" Now they can't blow me off by saying, "Yeah." Like, those people. "Oh, nice day." "Yeah." "Yeah." "Oh, yeah, that was a good conference." "Yeah." You want to start a conversation with somebody, ask them a question. Ask them a question they can't answer with a yes or no. That's called an open-ended question, and it will help you get engagement. Now, you want to be authentic. Who you are is so important. And we've all known people that, they used to call them two-faced people when I was in school. I mean, I guess that was years ago, but those people seem to, I used to know a lot of people that were two-faced, and they seem to succeed really well. I mean, they would be so nice to everybody, but really they were never authentic. They were just trying to be whatever that person wanted to hear. And unfortunately, with the world, or fortunately, if you like it, because I love authenticity, social media makes everything transparent. So if you are that unauthentic person that just tries to tell people that what try to please people, that's not going to be what makes you successful, because you can't play both sides to the middle on social media. The truth always comes out. So authenticity is key, and it's very key, especially in face-to-face communication, because people can tell. There's a lot of people that are empathic, and they can feel if you're lying. So I always I can't say that for sure when I'm meeting with somebody that I feel they're lying, but I can always feel that maybe something's not right, and that makes me feel uncomfortable and would prevent me from doing business with you. So think about that. I mean, have you ever felt that way? Have you ever got a niggly? You're talking to somebody and you just get a niggly that something's not right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that does this, but I just find, what, and typically, a lot of times it turns out that they haven't been quite on mark, and they're not being authentic, and that shows through, very clearly. So, you also want to be passionate about what you do. Nobody wants to say, "Yeah, I do social media. Yeah, yeah, I do websites." No, I do social media and I do websites and I love doing marketing. That's passion. You've got to be passionate about what you do, or else get out of Dallas, because you're in the wrong business. You want to listen, make note of who you want to connect to, who you can help. Mind your manners, please, and thank yous go a long way. And by all means, do make introductions. So those are my tips today. I'm just going to see if there's anybody comments here, and I see that we've got a few people joining, but nobody adding their comments. And there's some comments. Oh, that's wonderful. I can just get to it now. No, it's not letting me get to it. All right. Well, I would, whether you're watching it now or you're watching it another time on the replay, by all means, do add your comments below. These are just a few thoughts from a presentation that I deliver on networking. And I would love to deliver that. So if you know somebody that's looking for some help uh, marketing themselves and marketing their brand using networking, either online or off, by all means, give me a call. My name is Sue Sutcliffe, and you can find out more about me at www.susutcliffe.com. And thank you so much for joining me for Marketing Mondays. I appreciate it. Blessings.